USC legend, Grey Cup champion, NFL quarterback, and BattleBots host. Here's Sean Salisbury.
Oh, we always love checking in with Sean Salisbury each and every Tuesday. Of course, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Carmichael Dave off today. He's back tomorrow. Jason Ross, J. Mars, and the aforementioned Sean Salisbury. Sean, I know we're going to get to football certainly with you, but I got to start with baseball because here in Sacramento, I don't think a lot of people just have and you know it nationally, the love for the Astros, but this is a Dusty Baker town, and everybody is happy for him being from this area. What's it like right now? Just Astros fever after the World Series?
Yeah, I think that, most was rooting for Dusty Baker, and I also know that, he's the Andy Reid of baseball. Both Hall of Famers before they got their ring, everybody loves him and roots for him, and now Dusty got his. He's a friend. I've been fortunate to text back and forth through this, and then when he gets it, he just is as humble and a good guy going into it as he is coming out of it. And I know he's a local there, and you guys love him, but we love him here too. And the rumor is, or the word is, that he's agreed, basically, he and James clicked the new contracts, so he will be coming back.
Nice.
According to some reporters, and Jim Crane bringing it back, which is the only answer, because I think he's one of the three best managers in baseball. The fever here is, they expected to be here, and I think once they got in, they expected to win, not only the players but the fans, but they're not talking football. Here we are on Tuesday, and we haven't had a football call in about 3 weeks for the most part.
Wow.
So it's all baseball. This is an Astros town. And they're already talking about who we going to sign in the offseason, who we going to keep, and Justin Verlander's new deal and Dusty Baker, as opposed to, what's going on in the football season. And so, yeah, it is at a high pitch. They love their Astros, and I couldn't be happier that Dusty Baker's coming back. I love him, and I'm so proud of him and what he's accomplished. He deserved this.
Sean, I would imagine, though, there's a lot of sports talk radio in Indianapolis getting football calls with what happened yesterday. Kind of give us your take on the whole situation there with Frank Reich out and Jeff Saturday in.
I love Jeff. I think that Jeff is a really, really smart football guy, a great leader, was a hell of a player. You watch him on TV, you can tell he's got that leadership that people are engaged with and that like him. But this is no knock on Jeff Saturday, and I hope he succeeds at it. I think another name that's just walked off a high school football field in a great playing career and is killing it at Jackson State, Deion Sanders. Some people had the same questions. Well, and Deion's got so much substance, and the kids love him. NFL's different than college. Listen, it's a slap in the face to the profession, and I don't mean this has nothing to do with Jeff, because it's a friendship thing and obviously a trust thing that Irsay has for Jeff Saturday, and it may work, but I think about the coaches in the building. I think about the profession that guys have grinded for 30 and 40 years, waiting for an interim opportunity to coach them up. Jeff doesn't need to worry about the task. He needs to gain the trust of his coaching staff and the players in the first meetings immediately so they have buy-in. Trust is the most important thing that those players are going to be looking for. And then you got to trust your coaches to put in the right game plan, and then you got to lead. We're no longer in a command and control leadership world. We're in an inspire and trust. Those guys want to know you have their back. It's going to be a tough task for Jeff because they're not very good, but I think it's a slap in the face to the profession for guys who spent their whole life grinding and will never even get an interim opportunity as a head coach. But I'm happy for Jeff. We'll see how it works. And this is obviously a relationship hire. This isn't a hire because you think it's the best, the most qualified guy for the job.
I agree with that, Sean, 100%. I'm thinking about you in that same situation. Obviously, you've played it. You know the game. Jeff knows the game. But if you're asked today by the Houston Texans to coach this Sunday, could you do it? Of course. But it's that leadership. It's building a trust when you've had camp, you've had years, you've had relationships. I think that's the biggest ask right now of Jeff Saturday, to go in there and try to turn a team around in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, and guys that have been in the business a long time couldn't do it. And they've struggled at the end of last year and this year. And a guy who's been to the Super Bowl, and Frank Reich. I mean, let's be real. Yeah, if the Texans called me up and said, Sean, you want to coach? I'd say, sure. I'd go take the job, and people say you're not qualified. I'm qualified X's and O's wise to know football, and I like to think, being in my 50s and been around, that I know leadership. But applying it, of course I'd be in over my head to start and swimming like, damn, I need to lean on assistant coaches. That's the key, because they're going to be sitting in the meeting with him thinking, how'd this guy get this job? I respect him as a football guy, but 4 days ago he was smashing helmets on TV talking on Get Up. So that, I mean, and Jeff, so to earn that and to go in and look at the guys, you got to make sure you let them know, I trust you. I understand. You got to address the elephant in the room, which is how'd you get this gig? And then trust your coaches to go teach and coach. But you have to. Of course, we all think we can do it, but there's damn right there's far more qualified than me. Guys have been grinding, looking at tape hour after hour after hour, year after year for 30 years that deserve it more. But it's a relationship business, and Jim Irsay, who beats to a different drum, seems to trust Jeff Saturday. But rarely do we keep an interim coach long term. We'll see if it works for Jeff. It's not Jeff's fault. Hell, he's got an opportunity that we all killed for, and that those guys who've been trying to get that opportunity. That's the thing. It's not a slap in the face to any one person. It's a slap in the face to the coaching profession.
Our resident QB, Sean Salisbury, joining us this morning. Sean, the Raiders are 2-6 and look like an absolute mess. How much of this are you putting on Josh McDaniels?
I think, well, the one thing I do know is players are the ones with the ball in their hand and they play. But you got to be given you can't be given the keys to a car that doesn't start, right? I mean, meaning you got to prepare them right. It doesn't seem to me like they're being put in the right position. I feel like I feel from a distance like it looks like they're, and this may not be right, but it feels like they're ill prepared or there's no buy-in. It's weird. That we go right back to trust, inspire, and buy-in. Do the players trust McDaniels? Does McDaniels trust his staff? Is it a building filled with, I don't want to say content, but everybody's on the same page heading towards the same direction with that light at the end of the tunnel? I'm not sure what that light is this year. I think they're done this year. I do. And so, yes, when you're the leader of a franchise, and we know he knows X's and O's, but you took on calling the plays, running an organization, being the head coach. And when you take on all that, you better be prepared for it or you're going to get criticized. I'm just finding it hard to believe that this team offensively, for an offensive guru, got worse. They have gotten worse from last year, and they've added Devontae Adams. You got a 100 receptions guy and Hunter Renfrow. You got a quarterback who's been to Pro Bowls. It's hard. So, yeah, it's got to start with the head coach, and it's got to start with buy-in. It looks to me like it's Where's Waldo, a bunch of guys going in different directions that we can't locate.
Sean, can you describe that, like from your experience? What does a lack of buy-in look like? And I'm talking about practice, film, game day. What would that look like on the player side?
Well, clicks, murmuring, where, you got 3 guys over here saying this should be done, 3 guys over here, 5 guys over here, not against each other, but why aren't we doing this? I should be playing. They're not playing. What does he know? He didn't have success here. What's going on? We were not adjusted right. It's all the things that happen that winning remedies until you start losing again. But when you're losing, and then all of a sudden the jump off sides means you jumped off sides 3 times. We heighten it. It becomes hypersensitive. And then you start questioning the guy standing next to you. Well, why isn't he doing his job? Why isn't Devontae getting? What it looks like is a team that comes to work because they have to, not because they want to. And I got news for you. The grind is too difficult to come and to come to work and say, oh, we got to go through this. It also would look like guys falling asleep in a meeting room, not being held accountable. It just feels like a whole bunch of guys going in different directions. And I'm not sure if Josh hasn't gone in the right direction. I don't know, but the win-loss record tells us, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of response. It could be the player. It could be the coach, and it appears to me it's both right now.
Sean, last thing for you. It looks like there's a bidding war out there for the services of Odell Beckham Jr. You hear the Niners rumored, the Cowboys, the Bills. In your opinion, where can OBJ go where he'll have the most impact?
Wow, that's a hell of a question. If you're a team that's loaded with weapons, add another one. Like the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they went and traded for Kadarius Toney. Why wouldn't you want a guy like that to come also be a home run hitter? If you're the Minnesota Vikings, you were looking at another receiver before this. You've got a good receiving core. You added a tight end. Look at the different teammates. Why not him? Obviously, the teams that are on the bottom feeders of the league need receivers, but you can go around there. Let's see. If you're the Jets, you'd love to have another guy. If you're the Patriots, you could use a weapon. Well, you can't have enough. I want more of them. So we know all this. The Rams could use him back, obviously, because you could stick a fork in them. I mean, there's a lot of teams that can use him. I don't know where he's going to end up because it's been so many. I know the ones that are rumored. Hell, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could use him because they look a little bit slow, even though they won last week. So it depends on who gives him. But when he's healthy, he can still take the top off and make a difference for a football team.
That's going to be fun to see where he lands. Sean, we always appreciate your insight. Thank you so much. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's the great Sean Salisbury. He'll be